Hey everyone, just welcome back to Old School Moto. Just today, just wanted to talk to you about when I bought this bike. The engine was seized, and the engine was just sitting in a box complete. And I want to talk about how or what I found when I pulled it apart to help me understand what happened. And I think it's important to try and understand what happened in a situation like that, because I have no information. All I have is the engine. So can I make a good assumption? Can I make a very reasonable diagnosis as to what went wrong? And I'm just gonna I've only got a little bit of video and some still pictures of things that I can show you, but I'll obviously put those in as I talk about it. So initially, pulled out the box, dropped it on the bench, and obviously the first thing you're going to do is rip the top end off and see what's going on. So initially, tappet cover, disconnected things, cams and everything that I could to get it out, ripped the head off. That initial inspection, everything sort of looked okay. When I cleaned the carbon and everything out of the head, you could see little pit marks in aluminium around the valves. The valves had no marks on them at all. The thing was, well, something's bouncing around in there, ding 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 against the head. So once I managed to get the barrel off, I had to use the FBH to bang 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 tap it off. It was the only way to get it off. And as I said in another video, the guy that had it had put some oil or penetrating oil or something in the cylinder, so the spark plug was out. And in the box with the bolts and stuff, I did find the spark plug, and the spark plug had the electrode, or part of the electrode, missing. So leads you straight away to go, well, the electrode's broken off and it's bounced around inside the cylinder. And once I got the cylinder off, it hadn't actually gone down the side of the piston, and I can show you that piston because I've still got it, and it didn't have any like a gouge mark down the side. But what it had done, and you can see that in the pictures, is that it had nipped into the side of the barrel. So it had nipped into the nigger seal and put a little like a little dent in there, like a little hole, and I believe that's what caused it to pinch up. So that's okay. So that sort of solves that mystery. But then the ongoing thing is, why did that happen? Was it running too hot? Was there no water in the system? Was there some other thing going on that caused it to do that? So on further investigation, as I started to pull down the engine, I put a socket on the sprocket, and started to turn that because the rod was free, and it was kind of really tight. And I'm like, yeah, that's strange. So more investigation of that. Once I actually took the sprocket off, the countershaft turned fine. So I'm like, okay, that's what's wrong there. So it appears without having that information, it appears that the sprocket was on the wrong way. And that's quite possible that they've done that, because where we can see in the pictures the way the sprocket is, it's fucked. But they may have, because it started to hook, turned it around the other way, and that's why there's teeth missing, because it's just pulled it the other way and snapped them off. So putting the sprocket on, 180 on the sprocket, has pressed against the bush, which presses against the bearing, which causes it to be tight. So that's one thing. That's going to cause the engine to strain slightly to turn it over, because it's got a tight spot in its rotation. And I thought, okay, well, maybe that's what it is. Then, as you can see, once I pulled the clutch cover off, 3 bolts missing, the prongs on the inner basket cracked, broken, stripped. So that was the 3 of them. And it's like, well, okay, someone's had this off and gone, oh fuck yeah, it's but oh, I've got no money or whatever, and they put it back together. 3 springs, 3 bolts holding the clutch together. So that clutch must have been slipping like a mad bastard, right? Hey, so again, the engine then is revving its tits out, and the clutch is slipping, the sprocket's tight. So you start putting those things together. Did it get, how hot did it get? Then you look at the cylinder and head and say, well, there's a lot of carbon there. Like if it was running hot, it would have burnt really, light brown, possibly. Did the fuel injection compensate for it somehow and throw more fuel in it? I don't really know that. So I'm only assuming now that because of those things, the sprocket being tight, like causing the countershaft to be tight, the clutch would have been slipping, that the engine would have been working really hard, and at a bare minimum that spark plug electrode would have got really hot, because it would have just been getting caned. It's dropped off, but not enough. The spark still jumped across and going, so it's going, so they don't care. It's going, and that little part's bouncing around. Finally get nipped up, end of story. Bike's broken, got no money to fix it. They probably sold it off to the guy I bought it off. He was going to probably do what I've done to it. He had another project which he was trying to sell, and obviously money just was tight, so I ended up getting this anyway. So that's my diagnosis of what actually happened. I did worry about that, there's something wrong with the ignition, that the timing was actually correct when I checked it, that the ignition has a plug in it where you can change it to a what do you call it, like change the mapping so that it's lean or rich. So was it running too lean? Obviously looking by the inside the cylinder again, it wasn't running lean, but it was running, I think it was running hot, but just more concentrated around the spark plug. Maybe they're thrashing the pills out of up and down the road. The tyres indicated that it had done a bit of road work or hard dirt. So yeah, anyway, so that's my diagnosis of what happened. And after my first ride, I checked the spark plug, and it's it's nice and brown, not too lean. So I was pretty happy with it. Anyway, I hope that's an insight. So thanks for watching. Please again like and subscribe, and have a great day. Catch ya.